The vibrating phone on the nightstand sounded like a jackhammer against Leo's skull. It was 11:14 p.m. on a Tuesday. Leo stared at the ceiling of his dark apartment, his chest tight, his heart hammering a rhythm that felt like a panic attack masked as a heartbeat. He didn't need to look at the screen to know who it was. It was Sarah from marketing, or maybe his cousin Marcus, or his boss Miller. It didn't actually matter. To them, Leo wasn't a person. He was a 24-hour convenience store that never charged for its goods. He reached out, his hand trembling. His brain screamed, "Don't pick it up," but his fingers, acting on a decade of muscle memory, swiped green.
Hey, Leo. I know it's late, but...
"It's fine, Sarah," Leo heard himself say. The "it's fine" felt like a lie that was physically choking him. "What's up?" As she launched into a crisis about a slide deck she'd had 2 weeks to finish, Leo looked at his reflection in the darkened window. He looked hollow. He had become a ghost in his own life, a background character in everyone else's movie. He wasn't just tired, he was disappearing. How did a 30-year-old man with a degree and a decent paycheck become a servant to anyone with a cellular signal? Leo remembered the first time he realized that yes was a magic word. In school, being the guy who helped everyone meant you were liked, or at least you weren't lonely. He'd stay late to help the captain of the football team pass algebra. He'd drive his friends' girlfriends to the airport at 4 a.m. He'd take the extra shifts at the coffee shop so his coworkers could go to parties he wasn't invited to. He thought he was building social capital. He thought he was being reliable. But there's a dark side to being the person who is always there. When you are always available, people stop seeing your presence as a gift and start seeing it as a utility, like electricity or running water. You don't thank the faucet for turning on, you only complain when it's dry. By 25, Leo was the first call. Car broke down? Call Leo. Need a free move-in helper? Leo's got a truck and no plans. Work project failing at midnight? Leo's online. He remembered a date he'd had 6 months ago, the first woman he'd really liked in years. They were halfway through an actual conversation when his phone chirped. A friend needed him to talk them through a breakup. Leo excused himself for just 5 minutes. 40 minutes later, he returned to an empty table and a paid check. He didn't call her to apologize. He was too busy being available for someone who wouldn't even remember the conversation a week later. Back in the present, Sarah was still talking.
So if you could just reformat the last 10 slides, I can get some sleep. You're a lifesaver, Leo. Seriously.
Lifesaver. The word felt like lead. I can't tonight, Sarah, Leo said. His voice was thin. There was a silence on the other end. Not a sympathetic silence, but a confused, almost offended one.
Wait, what? But I told Miller it would be done by morning. It'll only take you an hour. You're the only one who knows the template.
I have a fever, Leo lied. He didn't have a fever, but he felt like he was burning up from the inside out.
Oh, well, can't you just do it from bed? I really need this, Leo.
That was it. The moment the oak tree snaps. Leo realized in that silence that Sarah didn't care if he was sick. She didn't care if he was sleeping. She cared about the utility of Leo. He was a tool, and the tool was refusing to work. He hung up. 2 seconds later, the phone buzzed again. Then a text. "Leo, are you there?" Then a notification from his boss. "Leo, Sarah says you're under the weather, but we need those slides. Jump on for 10 mins?" He felt the walls closing in. The jeopardy was no longer just a metaphor. He felt like if he didn't stop now, there would be nothing left of him to save. He was at the bottom of a well he had dug for himself, one yes at a time. The recovery, the art of the no. Leo did something he hadn't done in 3 years. He turned the phone off. Not vibrate, not do not disturb, power off. The silence that followed was terrifying. It felt like a physical weight. He sat in the dark, waiting for the world to end. He expected his boss to show up at his door. He expected his friends to delete him from their lives. He stayed awake for hours, his mind racing through every possible bridge he was burning. They'll think I'm selfish. They'll think I'm lazy. I'm going to lose everything. But when the sun came up, the world was still there. He turned his phone on at 9 a.m., not 6 a.m. There were 17 missed messages. He felt the old urge to reply to every single one with a paragraph-long apology. "I'm so sorry, I passed out, I'm so embarrassed, I'll do it now." He typed it out. Then he paused. He looked at the ghost in the glass again. He deleted the text. He typed, "I wasn't available last night. I can look at the slides at noon during my scheduled block. Best, Leo." He hit send. The reply from his boss came 5 minutes later. "No worries, Sarah figured it out herself. See you at noon." Leo stared at the screen. She figured it out herself. The realization hit him like a physical blow. By being always available, he wasn't just hurting himself, he was enabling everyone around him to be helpless. He had been a crutch, and because he was always there, no one else had bothered to learn how to walk. 6 months later, Leo sat in a coffee shop. His phone was in his pocket. It hadn't buzzed once in 2 hours. He wasn't less popular, he was more respected. People stopped calling him for emergency slide decks at midnight because they knew he wouldn't answer. They stopped asking him to move furniture because they knew he valued his weekends. The people who only liked him for his availability had drifted away, replaced by people who actually wanted to know how he was doing. He looked at his reflection in the shop window. The ghost was gone. He looked solid. He looked present. He realized that scarcity creates value. Diamonds aren't expensive because they are pretty. They're expensive because you can't find them anywhere. By making himself scarce, he had finally made himself valuable. When you give your time to everyone, you end up belonging to no one, not even yourself. Availability is not the same thing as kindness, and no is not a dirty word. It is a boundary that protects the yeses that actually matter. Stop being a 24-hour convenience store. Close the doors, turn off the lights. The people who truly value you will be there when you open back up on your own terms.
Proverbs 25:28 gives us a bite-sized piece of wisdom that is surprisingly modern. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. In ancient times, a city without walls had no protection. Anyone could walk in, take the food, ruin the buildings, and leave the people exhausted and afraid. When we think of self-control, we usually think of avoiding bad habits, but in this context, it also means the control of your own boundaries. If you don't have walls, the ability to say no, people will keep walking through your life, taking your energy and your health until there is nothing left of the original you. Check the condition of your walls. Imagine your life is that city. These questions help you see where the stones have fallen over. 1. The yes test. When you say yes to someone else, what are you accidentally saying no to in your own life? Is it your sleep, your peace, or your health? 2. The identity crisis test. If everyone you helped suddenly disappeared tomorrow, would you still know who you are? Or is your entire identity built on being the person who fixes things? 3. The guest list. Do the people in your life love you, or do they just love the access you give them to your time and resources? It's easy to get lost when you've spent years living for others. Use these to start finding you again. If I had 1 hour today where no one could ask me for anything, what would I actually want to do? Not what you should do, but what you want to do. Does my exhaustion feel like good work, or does it feel like I'm being erased? Why am I afraid of the word no? Am I afraid they won't like me, or am I afraid I won't feel useful anymore? A hard truth to sit with. You cannot pour water from a dry well.
By losing yourself to please everyone, you eventually become unable to help anyone at all. While it's good to help, don't lose yourself in the process.
Life can be loud, but there is a quiet strength waiting for you in these ancient words. See you in our next video. Until then, let this wisdom guard your heart.